Thank you, Madam Chair. I was just making a comment to the chair, Mr. Brennan, that I've been through a whole lot of confirmation hearings in 28 years here, and including quite a few CIA directors. And I quite honestly do not recall anybody who was more forthright, more direct, more accommodating without violating who you are, more open to the possibility of working with this committee in a way that will do two things. One, that will give the folks at CIA who probably constantly worry about what is the next awful thing that we're going to say about them, but that's not our intention, because we're into the business of problem solving, and if we have to write a 6,000-page thing, it isn't fun for us. We're trying to solve a problem. I have a feeling you understand that. I have a feeling that that you feel that the CIA, if they felt that they were working in with some contention with the oversight committee in the Senate, but nevertheless that the Senate was involved, was informed, was interested, that this would be something that they would welcome. That there are a lot of people who've been at the CIA for quite a while, who may be sort of stuck in that mid-rank crisis, et cetera, who are looking for an open, fresh, strong leader. I happen to think you are that leader. I've felt that since our conversation. I felt that from before our conversation. And we haven't had our secret meeting yet, so I always would, but I'm sure I'm not going to change my mind. I just think you've done an extraordinary job of patience, of courtesy, of wisdom, of being able to, the only question that you couldn't answer that I'm aware of was who was it that took notes on some meeting that you had, teleconference that you had 20 years ago. But I find it in my heart to forgive you for that. So to me, I think you're a terrific leader, and I'll look forward to Tuesday, but I think you're the guy for the job, and the only guy for the job.
Thank you, Senator, for those very kind words, and I haven't lived up to them yet. And if I were to go to CIA, as I think some people had said, some senators said, you want to hear not just words, but you want to actually see the actions. It's a daunting task to go over to CIA. I want every member of this committee to be an ardent advocate, proponent, and defender of the men and women of the Central Intelligence Agency. And I see it as my obligation to represent them to you on their behalf, so that when times get tough and when people are going to be criticizing, complaining about the CIA, I have all of you to say, you know about what the CIA was doing, you supported it, and you will defend it.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Burke.
Thank you, Chairman. And I'm going to try to be brief because I've noticed you're on your fourth glass of water, and I don't want to be accused of waterboarding you.
That's a good one.
Mr. Brennan, with the exception of our request for the presidential daily briefs around the time of Benghazi, which there was executive privilege claimed, do you know of any other claim of executive privilege on any of the documents that this committee is waiting on right now?
Senator, I know that there are requests for some emails that might have taken place between the intelligence community and the White House, whatever. And so there are a number of sort of elements that I think people are looking at. So,
but none that executive privilege have been claimed on, correct?
Well, I am not in a position to say that, Senator, and I would defer to those individuals, the White House counsel and others, to make those determinations about what they want to.
Well, let me say it from this end: they have not claimed, they have not justified not producing those documents based upon executive privilege. So, I assume if they're going to claim it, then they need to claim it quick. On January 13th of this year, the President signed into law the 2013 Intelligence Authorization Act, which requires congressional notification of any authorized disclosure of national intelligence. Now, we've not received any notifications of authorized disclosures. Have there been any authorized disclosures to your knowledge?
I would like to say that since you haven't received any notifications, there haven't been.
Would you consider the information reported in the press about the counterterrorism playbook an authorized disclosure?
I don't know which piece you're talking about. There's been a lot of discussion out there in the media and in the newspapers about this, and so I don't know specifically about any classified information. The fact that the administration may be going through a process to try to institutionalize, codify, make as rigorous as possible our processes and procedures in and of itself is not a classified issue. So those details that are classified, I don't know of any that came out in some of those reports.
If there are classified information that's out there and it was not authorized, was there a crime report filed relative to the playbook?
Presumably there was, Senator. Those decisions as far as initiating criminal investigations are done by those departments and agencies that have stewardship of that classified information. And in discussions with the Department of Justice, then they make a determination whether or not, in light of the fact that maybe so many people have access to it, how they can proceed with some type of criminal investigation.
As we prepare for the closed hearing on Monday, this is not a question, on Tuesday, excuse me, I'll ask you today that you be prepared to provide for the committee any specific discussions that you had where you were authorized to reveal classified information or to talk about information on covert action. Again, not something I'd like to do today. The answer may be zero. If there are things, Tuesday would be an opportunity for you to provide. That was a question from a pre-hearing question from the committee that was unanswered. My last question is this. I'm still not clear on whether you think the information from CIA interrogations saved lives. Have you ever made a representation to a court, including the FISA court, about the type and importance of information learned from detainees, including detainees in the CIA detention and interrogation program?
First of all, in the first part of your question, that you're not sure whether or not I believe that there has been this information, I don't know myself.
I wasn't clear whether I understood, whether I was clear.
And I'm not clear at this time either, because I've read a report that calls into question a lot of the information that I was provided earlier on, my impressions. When I was in the government as the head of the National Counterterrorism Center, I know that I had signed out a number of affirmations related to the continuation of certain programs based on the analysis and intelligence that was available to analysts. And I don't know exactly what it was at the time, but we can take a look at that.
But yeah. The committee can assume that you had faith, if you made that claim to a court or including the FISA court, you had faith in the documents and in the information that was supplied to you to make that declaration.
Absolutely. At the time, if I made any such affirmation, I would have had faith that the information I was provided was an accurate representation.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Senator, very much. Senator